Okay, now what is GPT first? No? GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformers, and this is a prominent framework within generative artificial intelligence, and it falls under the umbrella term of large language models. Now, most of the items or most of the topics that I have discussed here applies more on the machine learning aspect of natural language processing. If we're going to look at NLP on a much bigger picture in relation to machine learning, there are what you would also call large language models. Now, what are these in general? LLMs, in a way, are models specific for a language, right? So meaning it is an application already of machine learning, and based on whatever functionality that you want to use on how you can analyze or generate text, no, you use an LLM. And on the underlying aspect of the LLM is where GPT works alongside LLM. It is a use case of LLM. Okay. Now, how it is implemented, they are essentially neural networks. So you associate deep learning already with GPT, and they are designed for natural language processing tasks. In the table that I am showing to you here, these are just some high-level examples. Now, the one that you are seeing in most websites or in the internet nowadays, these are what you would call your chatbots, right? So this is more of like in a developer perspective, this is your front end. This is the component responsible for interacting with the end user. It's the chatbot, which is a separate system on its own. Behind this chatbot is your LLM or your large language model. This is where GPT would come in. Okay, so for my IT or for my developers out there, you may have also be familiar with how a system would be structured out. You have a front end, you have a logic, and you also have a back end, right? So the frontier here would serve as your chatbot or your um, customer or end user facing. The logic here is the LLM or the large language model. So this is responsible for manipulating and processing the data itself in the form of language text. And finally, you can have also the backend. The backend can be the database. It can even be the corpus or the compilation of different knowledge bodies now used to refer to by the LLM in order to generate and understand text. Now, based on the company who developed the LLM, the most popular one nowadays is, of course, the GPT LLM model, which one was developed by OpenAI. Okay, and their front end is, of course, obviously ChatGPT. The versions of GPT nowadays is based on the corpus it refers to, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think GPT 3.5 refers to a corpus or a data set from the internet coming back as early as 2011, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I'll have to check my reference here, my references then. But the point here is that versions of GPTs or LLMs in general would normally refer to up to what extent of body of knowledge is the LLM being referred to. Okay, at least for the case of GPT. Okay, for Google, for Meta, heck, Meta even is developing already their own LLM models. No, it also varies. Okay, so from my personal experience, most of the use cases that I have used, I'm more of akin to using Google Bard and also to Palm because frankly that's the one that I have at the moment. No, but there, Bard is using Palm 2. Okay, nowadays it is also using the Gemini LLM. Okay, and in fact, I believe Google has already combined Gemini to be both the chatbot itself as well as the LLM, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, because they also have another product there called Vertex AI. But my point here is that the GPT itself, it's called GPT because of several aspects, okay, or several characteristics. Now, a GPT it's named as such because of, again, generative, meaning it is, as the name suggests, excels at creating novel content. Now, this is a bit of a double-edged sword. Okay? Now, the pre-training model phase equips them with the ability to predict the next word in a sequence, allowing them to create human-like text formats from poems to code and even in images. So that is where the concept of generative would come in. Pre-trained means that because it is a large language model, unlike similar models that you have to train and develop on your own, they already come pre-bundled, meaning that they already know that if they receive this kind of text, they know how to respond to it. It's just a matter of how you can optimize it. Okay? And finally, the transformer aspect relies on the third one, which is the neural network architecture. A bit of a technical aspect here, no? The transformer architecture actually consists of two components. You have the encoder part and you also have the decoder part. Okay. If I were to simplify the terms here, no, the GPT is structured in a way that tokens are fed into the decoder and it is further transformed into a data set that can then be referred to back using the pre-trained model. Okay, so that you can even further look one up. What is the transformer architecture? This is one of the uh, milestones or the key points of artificial intelligence, specifically for machine learning. Okay, but the point here is that GPT, it has key characteristics. Again, generative capabilities. It is already pre-trained in the form of a large language model. And the transformer architecture type, or it is implemented using neural networks. Okay? Specifically, the transformer architecture. I'm not kidding. It is really called the transformer architecture. Okay, so there.